Hi, Pisces. I am so happy to be sitting down here with you. And it's funny, I was feeling through your energy, which always takes me a minute to feel through your energy. Um, I connect with you all, but I'm not somebody with Pisces in my chart really at all. So it's always kind of, for me, just takes a moment to get into your space, right? And feel it out. And you guys are a little bit mysterious. You have layers. And, we talked about last month the impatience. Like the cards were just showing me you're ready to go, you're ready. That's been kind of a theme since your birthday, pretty much. And actually, there were 3 key words that came up when I was feeling through your energy today. It was impatience, hope, and vision. And that's kind of what the astrology is showing me in general. There's those three words. There's a duality. There are layers going on. Because here's the thing: the big ticket item in the astrology landscape this month is this Uranus shift from Aries into Taurus, right? And for you, that means it's a shift into your 3rd house of how you're communicating, right? And your short distance travel and just the things that are immediately around you, And I think that's really interesting because, this electric revolutionizing planet that wants to inject a certain level of intensity, spend 7 years there. So it's going to take its time doing that. But one thing I'm noticing with it being in this sextile position with you, with this Taurus energy, and there's a lot of Taurus energy because it's Taurus season. We're going to have Mercury in Taurus on the 13th. We're going to have a new moon in Taurus on the 15th. We're going to have Uranus in Taurus on the 15th. There's all that energy going into this 3rd house. But one thing I like about that for you is that it's going to help you more efficiently explain to others, right, what it is you're trying to do, what it is you're trying to make happen. I do feel like that's where the word impatience is coming from, though. There's a sense that, even though Taurus kind of works slowly, so your 3rd house is a very methodical 3rd house, right? It's very likes to take its time and go over the details and not rush things. However, with that electric energy in Taurus, with all the fuel that has been building up behind Pisces in general over the course of this year, honestly, it's really been since 2018 started. Pisces, you guys have kind of had this, the pressure is building, there's like a steam engine and you guys are, that pressure is building and there's a lot of intensity there. Now, we also have some really, really, really symbiotic energies for you that I think while we have this shift in energy going on, you're also getting a lot of support from things like the fact that Venus is going into Cancer on the 19th, which is your 5th house, that your heart chakra, and Venus is so beautiful there. I love Venus in Cancer. I think that's such a beautiful placement. I think you'll really enjoy that while she's hanging out there for a few weeks, a number of days. And then we have the Scorpio full moon on the 9th, and that's, or on the 29th, and that is your 9th house of, your philosophy and the big vision, right? The big, wide open vision. And there's where that beautiful fusion between that Uranus and Taurus, I think, with the full moon in Scorpio, that's going to be a beautiful night for you guys, to really get your vision clear on where you're traveling next. Really great energy for you guys. And of course, as we get to the end of the month, we're going to be in Gemini season. And Gemini season is interesting for Pisces. It's 4th house energy. It's your internal space energy. And as we kind of move into that space, you're going to be looking at what's working for you in that area. Gemini season will always kind of have with it a questioning of what works for you when it comes to your living situation, your internal space, your home space, right? So there's a lot going on, Pisces. There's a lot going on with you, but you can just ignore all of this astrology if you want, because I really do believe, it's a tool to kind of understand some lenses through which we experience existence, right? But at the end of the day, the feeling I get with Pisces is that there's still just this life you want to be living, this being you want to become, this next horizon you want to see and experience, and it is calling to you with such intensity, and it's just going to keep getting louder. And that's what really matters, right? Is that we're listening to that voice. Now I'm waiting for one more card to come out here, and then I'm really, really interested to see what this adventure is going to unfold for Pisces this month, because I just have a feeling it's going to be an interesting ride. I haven't looked at these cards really yet, so this is going to be really interesting. This last one does not want to show up. So we're just going to sit here for a second till it does. But yeah, oh, there's another interesting thing going on here too. Just one brief moment before. There is a Mars going into Aquarius on the 16th. And that's, you know, Aquarius is your 12th house. So there's also that kind of forward-driven Mars energy in your 12th house. It's going to be pushing on you even more. You know, that deepest held spiritual side of ourselves getting pushed on by that kind of intensive energy. It's like you're going to want to share what you're thinking about things with everybody. Okay, let's see what we have. Wow. Yep. Like I was saying, you guys are, there is a steam engine, and I'm seeing it here. So, first three cards, Knight of Cups, Wheel of Fortune, the Devil. That Wheel of Fortune really speaks to me with you all and your energy right now, I have to say. You know what I was saying about communication, right? And how that's starting to get electrified, your third house, that Taurus part of you. With that, there is this desire to put what you hold in here out, right? Whenever I see the Knight of Cups, the first thing I think about, yes, this is romantic, so maybe you have another water sign in your life preferring their cup to you, right? However, what I see with this especially is like, Pisces, this is how you want to be in the world right now. You know, I think you guys are, you are givers, and you do hold that cup out. However, because you've had to learn how to be in this world, a lot of times I've noticed that Pisces have a tendency to figure out coping mechanisms for being in this material world by getting that casing on. We've talked about that before, right? And there gets to be a point, especially if you've been frustrated or there's been a lot of roadblocks coming up, where it's hard to be the Knight of Cups, where you have your cup outside of you and you're preferring it again. Now, what I'm getting a sense of here is that there is a desire to return to this kind of openness. If you've gone through a lot of heartache or a lot of stress or a lot of feelings of hitting up against a wall, right? It's hard to get back to this point sometimes, or it feels difficult, right? So it feels hard to imagine being this youthful, relentlessly optimistic person. The Knight of Cups is relentlessly optimistic, right? But there's some sense I'm getting here of you guys wanting to be back here. You want to live in this modality. You want to be able to be that giver, that big open heart that you are, without worrying that like it's going to end with you being drained, exhausted, misunderstood, in the wrong place, the wrong time, what have you. And I kind of see that happening here, right? Because the Wheel of Fortune is this shift. It's a shift. It's time to shift. Uranus and Taurus, that is the Wheel of Fortune. To me, in so many ways, that is that turning of the dial, right? There's no longer time for this old way. Now it's time to focus in on how we want to express ourselves, right? Express the internal reality of who and what you are and what you're wanting to accomplish. It's coming out. But what's really interesting is this Devil here on the other side. So here's the battle, right? I don't know if you're dealing with somebody who's stubborn or kind of holds back, or maybe even a situation, right, that makes you feel kind of grounded. Now, you know, Devil energy is often associated with Capricorn. We have a lot of intense energy in Capricorn right now. We have Pluto and Saturn hanging out in Capricorn. That carries with it a certain weight. Also, though, when I see this card, especially right now, it's like this is imprisonment. I almost feel like there is a sense of imprisonment. You look at these two, and they are all about freedom. Freedom of motion, freedom of heart, freedom of change. And this is all about feeling that you are kind of stuck, right? There is a battle of wills going on here. And I don't know if it's just, it could be circumstantial, right? That you can feel this change coming, and yet this is still kind of lurking. It could be that you're having a little bit of a battle between the hardened shell of how you survive in the world and you get things done, because I know you guys can, and I know you guys do. You just barrel through it. You barrel through it. But this is more where you want to be. And so I'm seeing kind of that dissonance a little bit, right? And that's why I'm talking about the steam engine. It's building, right? But there is a desire for change. Now, the next 3 cards speak of that. They actually speak of transformation. Most of the energy for you this month is a shift in energy. And it's one from all the frustration we've been talking about with the impatience and the itching to go and the itching to make the changes. And even what I was talking about now, the itching to be back into this modality of sharing your heart naturally. All that's happening. What I'm seeing now is the actual practical shift, right? And it needing to happen, and I think you guys will get this, because I think that actually this is a way that you are used to manifesting in some ways. But there is an element of, instead of it being about you just forcing it to happen, you've got to allow this stuff to meet you a little bit, right? Because look what we have here. We have the 7 of Swords, Death, and the Hanged Man. So this is interesting. Once again, at the center, we have a transformation card, right? And we have a battle again between 2 ways of seeing and doing. Now, the 7 of Swords, yeah, this can be about not trusting people around you, right? This can be about feeling like you can't quite get a handle on who to trust. Trust yourself, trust other people, trust the situation. I don't know, right? There's something going on here with that. A lot of times when I see this card, though, it feels like you can't leave something behind, because you will feel like the thief, you will feel like the villain, you will feel like the person who's getting away with something that they shouldn't be getting away with. You know, you guys often get yourselves into these cycles where you give and then you feel like you can't get out of it, because you are now in a position where you made a promise to somebody, you made a commitment to something, and now if you walk away because you need to take care of yourself or because you need a change in your life, you start to feel this way, right? But everything that I'm seeing here is that transformation is calling you. And, you know, the Death card is about shedding a skin. Absolutely. It is about going through the dark night and coming up with the sunrise and realizing that you can no longer be what you were yesterday or last week or last year. The transformation is coming whether you want it or not, right? And the way to get into this mode that we were talking about with the Knight of Cups, right? The way to reach this point of being, which, look at these 2. They're very similar, aren't they? They're very similar. The Knight of Cups' ability to hold his heart out like that is also deeply tied to his ability to understand the fluctuation of everything, which you guys are Pisces, so you get this, right? You get this. But the Hanged Man there, right? That's slow energy, which is really funny. So we have all this forward motion. Okay, we want to make changes. We want to make changes. And yet there's something about how there is impatience, like I was saying in those notes. And I do think that there is a shift here, right? There's a shift. There's the promise of something new beginning. It's a promise of an open door. And yet not everything is going to happen this month, right? This is just the beginning of that transformation. So it's kind of having to hang with the duality of you're starting to make changes, but not everything's happening yet. And so you have to hang back and chill. And that's a tough duality in life a lot of times. Like, oh my gosh, everything's changing. Oh wait, I still have to wait for a little bit, right? So we have the duality going on there. And the theme just continues, you guys. I can't help but notice that the last 3 cards, you know how I was saying, like that feeling like you are responsible and you hold responsibility and you're not allowed to walk away. It makes you feel guilty. 10 of Wands, 4 of Cups, 6 of Cups. You're holding on to way too much. Whenever I see the 10 of Wands, that means you're holding a burden that's not serving you anymore. You are holding too much. You are trying to do too much, or in your mind, you are making yourself responsible for too much. Now, 10s, whenever 10s show up, it is the culmination point, right? It's the culmination point, which means it's the end of a longer chapter, a longer cycle. You've worked all the way up to this point. And when this one shows up, it is like, it's saying that basically it's about time to put something down. Put something down. And here's the thing, I feel like you guys are nervous about that. I think you're nervous about putting it down because you can't quite see that fourth cup yet. You know, the Four of Cups is that the whole deal with that is that you think you can see everything that's coming and every possibility and the way it's going to work out. And so, but it's frustrating because it's not everything you wanted and you're like, oh, that's it. But that fourth cup is just out of view. So in releasing those burdens, there is a moment of blindness before the next things fill in that space vacuum that you create energetically when you release. You got to stop taking responsibility for anybody else's emotional state, right? Or anybody else's physical or material state. You know, that giving is so great. And I know that, like we said, you want to be back here. But, you know, the greatest givers, it's that Brene Brown thing where she says, the people with the best boundaries are actually the most loving people. And I think there is a difference between just girding yourself for the impact, which I think often you guys do, you know, and setting healthy boundaries. And then sharing that gorgeous, gorgeous, wonderful, warm heart that you have, right? And that's the balance we want to find here. Now, maybe you do have people in your life who are taking advantage of you or are putting pressure on you or are not really treating you in the best way. Because I'm seeing a little bit of that in some of the energies here, that there is some kind of situation that's feeling burdensome to you. And maybe that's true. Once again, you can't take responsibility for where those people have put themselves in their own head. Now, what's really interesting is the Six of Cups at the end. This is such a Piscean energy because you guys live time in a little bit of a different way. You live it in layers. You kind of understand that we circle back through energies throughout our lives and just throughout our existence, right? The Six of Cups is kind of that understanding that we loop back through this nostalgic, sweet, warm place. And it can be kind of a double-edged sword in the sense that it can be beautiful and it can also be haunting. And what I'm seeing here is a desire to leave an old loop. If you think of time as a spiral, right? It's like you're going to pass over this deep connection, this deep well that you have in your heart. But there's something about needing to release that, right? There's a desire here to get out from under whatever this is that's holding you. You're done. You're done. You're done. You're ready for the renewal of hope. The renewal of the freshness, right? This is freshness, a fresh start. When you think about this Knight of Cups, and then you look at these three cards, I mean, they're so different, right? These are all about the culmination of experience, the accumulation of experience, the understanding that experience comes with all these different mindsets. The Knight of Cups is just in the moment. The only way to get there is to release this. I think the energies that are in and around us are really going to help you to release that. I think everything is telling me that we are getting that energetic shift. You are putting down this burden. You're putting it down in a great way, in a healthy way, in a way that feels right for you. I'm just telling you that you may feel a little discomfort in saying, I can't hold this anymore, right? But it's okay to push through that moment of discomfort because at the end, you're getting an energetic renewal. I like that for you, Pisces. I like that a lot. I think you need that. I think this month you need to reassess where you're putting all that beautiful heart and set those healthy boundaries so that you can be that loving, giving person that you want to be and you enjoy being normally. Okay, I love you guys so much. It has been so much fun doing this reading. Please get in touch with me. My May calendar is a little crazy, but I am going to be scheduling about a handful of pre-recorded readings. So email me if you're interested in one of those. I will put my email in the description box. And then my website as well. Go check that out. I'm still booking Skype and phone readings. It's just going to be more into the June month. So if you're willing to wait just a couple weeks, I'd be happy to work with you. I would love to work with you, in fact. Also, check me out on Instagram at @thesarahtarot. That would be amazing. And then, of course, PinkLune, my Taurus love. She is just So beautiful. Everything handmade. She's a one-woman show. 15% off. Check her out. She is beautiful and one of my favorite people. And I love you guys so much, and I will see you in June for more adventures.